Hello there, my lovelies. This is Brady, and it feels good to be back again. As you guys know, it's been a little while. I've been a little bit off the radar, but if you know the reason why, it should have you pretty excited. And that's because I wrote, produced, starred in, composed music for an absolutely banging podcast called Rogue Life that really all of you should check out if you haven't already. I'll go ahead and I'll put a link down below, so make sure that you go and you listen to it there. But also, I mean, not everyone likes the whole podcast environment. So if you want me to make this available on additional formats, just let me know. Drop a note in the comments, and I just want to make sure that I get Rogue Life to as many people as possible, because if you like any of the things that I praise on this show, then you are going to love Rogue Life. Trust me. Reviews versus the wild. Alright, so the first thing that I want to get into here is a book. And this is a book that, I had considered a little bit. Will Wight, the author, I had heard a little bit about him, here and there. But of course, with Sanderson's absolutely outstanding Kickstarter that he had, a couple months ago, you look at other authors and how they kind of handled all of that success. And there was one Kickstarter that really caught my attention, and it was this author, Will Wight. And the reason why it caught my attention is because he kind of did a parody video of Sanderson's Kickstarter video, but for his own Kickstarter that he was already running. And I'm like, you know what, I can respect that. So that really got this guy on my radar. And then one of my favorite booktubers, really good friend, Michael Nip, you can see a link down to his stuff down below, but he started getting obsessed with this series, which is the Cradle series. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that sounds pretty interesting. I think that's something that I can get into too. And as I started reading it, I'm like, okay, this is not what I expected. I expected, just kind of like your standard fantasy as I started reading Unsouled. And what I got was something completely different. What I got was, so anime. And you know me, you know that I like the occasional little bit of anime. Just give me a little smidge, and yeah, I'll be a fan of it. And here, this Cradle series came along, and I wasn't expecting it to really catch my attention, but oh boy, it did. This anime nature of it, I'm like, all right, this is not just anime, this is Naruto. And this is Naruto with kind of like a tournament vibe from Naruto, which, those are my favorite arcs in Naruto. So yeah, go ahead, give that to me. And I'm enjoying it. I'm liking all the twists and turns and all the things. You have this guy who isn't really supposed to have any abilities, and so he has to use his wits to kind of make up for it. A little bit kind of like the Arithmetist, bringing it back to Sanderson. But it got weird. There's this little section that all of a sudden it takes this turn, and I don't want to spoil anything for you guys, but there are some characters that are introduced that take this from just anime fantasy to, is this sci-fi now? This is weird, but I loved it. I loved it because it's so interesting, and it's a mashing of genres that you don't really see all that often. And so I really enjoyed it. I'm about halfway through Soulsmith, which is book 2 now, and I'm not liking it quite as much as the first book, I'll be honest. I'll of course, I'll update you as I actually finish it. But Unsouled, I really, really enjoyed. It had some very interesting concepts, and it took it in some directions that I wasn't expecting, and that's what I love. Give me something that I don't get every day from my books, and I'll be into it. And yeah, the Cradle series has been giving that to me in spades. All right, now let's do a quick jaunt over to games because, you know, of course, I'm always playing games. It's me. I'm Brady. There's always going to be games, but there's nothing quite like a game that not only catches my attention, but the attention of my kids. And that game this week has been Bugsnax. Now, you may remember that close to the launch of the PlayStation 5, there was this little game called Bugsnax that had a really it had this catchy tune in the trailer, and, you know, that tune kind of actually became a little bit meme-ified, and you had all these cute little creatures that look like they come just from that Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2, where it's like a hybrid between fruits and vegetables and animals, and you know that's really cute, and you know it catches your attention. You know, it gets you because it's just adorable. It's absolutely adorable. And so, but you know, I did not have a PlayStation 5, so that game came and went for me, and I'm like, meh, oh well, you know, what can you do? And then this last week, it released for the Nintendo Switch and for the Xbox on Game Pass. And so I'm like, well, you know what? I'm always looking for new games on the Switch, and I think this is one that I'll enjoy. I think it's one that my kids will enjoy, so I'll go ahead and get it. And as I bought it on the Switch and I showed it to my kids became immediately obsessed. Like, they were just all into every little bit of the aesthetic, because it's like, yeah, you have those cute little Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2 creatures, but you also have these Muppets that walk around, basically, and you know, they're cute, they're funny characters, and then you start getting into the body horror elements when you feed the cute little creatures to the Muppets, and then the Muppets start turning their body parts into the fruits and vegetables and food, and it's so disturbing, but it's kind of funny, and it's still cute. It's still cute. So my kids have been absolutely obsessed with this game, and in fact, there was at one point because I have my own Switch, you know, my kids have their Switch, and then there's the Xbox, and at one point I had 3 of my kids, one playing on my Switch, one playing on their Switch, and one playing on the Xbox, all of them playing Bugsnax at the same time. So they've been really into this. And let me just take a step back and kind of explain the gameplay a little bit. So it's like you have a little bit of an element of Pokemon, and specifically I'll say Pokemon Snap to it, because you have these creatures and you are trying to catch them. But the way that you catch them is it's almost puzzle-like. Kind of like what you see with Pokemon Snap, where it's like these creatures will react to certain things that you can do in certain ways, and so you have to figure out the puzzle of, okay, well, you know what, if I slingshot some ketchup over there, and then that's going to get the little hamburger bug to come out and go straight for that, but oh, what if I spray this other hamburger bug with the ketchup, then this first hamburger bug is going to go and knock that one out so that I can then catch it. And oh, that's how I catch it. And there's so many elements to that. And this game goes deeper and bigger than you would expect from Bugsnax. And it does it in a delightful way. The aesthetic all around is wonderful. The music is great. It looks great and it runs great even on the Switch. Of course, on my Xbox Series X, it looks a little bit better, but I wouldn't let that deter you from playing the Switch version at all, because the Switch version is wonderful. It's very well optimized, and now is a good time to jump in. If you're a little bit wary and you have an Xbox and you have Game Pass, download it, because there's your risk-free version. However, if you have a Switch and you're willing to give something a shot, it's $20, and it's well worth it. It is a lot of fun. All right, now let's get into some movies. And the first one I'm going to start with, this is just such a dumpster fire of a film. And, you know, it says something when you already have bottom expectations for something. You expect it to just be horrible. You know, there's no way that this is going to go anywhere. There's no way that that this is going to have any good performances, but you think, yeah, at least I'll be entertained a little bit. And then Roland Emmerich comes at you and he goes, yeah, you remember Independence Day? You like that, right? I'm like, well, yeah, I like Independence Day quite a bit. Well, what about the day after tomorrow? Not a fan. Well, what about 2012? No. Well, how about I just kind of combine all of those into Moonfall? It's bad. It is bad, folks. And here's the thing. I actually love Patrick Wilson. I think that he is one of the most underrated actors in Hollywood. I mean, you take a look at his performances, especially in Fargo, and this guy has some chops to him. But when you don't give him good material to go off of, maybe don't expect too much, because here, woo! Especially when you're also playing off of Oscar Award winner somehow, Halle Berry. Yeah. But you would still expect something. You would expect some, good level of entertainment here, right? I mean, yeah, it's things blowing up. The moon is falling. It's in the title. So that has to be fun, right? It isn't. It's boring. It's a slog. It's badly acted, and nothing makes any sort of sense. And then you go and you start looking at the characters a little bit deeper, and you go, hey, you know what? Yeah, this character, he is pretty much exactly like Randy Quaid's character in Independence Day. Oh, and this character, that's Jeff Goldblum from Independence Day. And you realize that, wait, he's just using the exact same characters for all of these movies. And then you go and you think, wait, is this just alternate universes of disaster films? Is that what this is? Because that's the only way that could explain that this man has such little creativity to go outside of what he's already done 10 times. But Roland Emmerich, just stop. These movies are not good. You are not good. Hollywood, stop giving him money. Studios, stop investing in this guy's movies. Because they're bad. They are bad, and they're just getting worse. It's like when you have the crazy old uncle who's starting to lose it, and he gets worse and worse and worse, and then you wouldn't suddenly go, hey, you know what, Uncle Sam? Yeah, you are doing so great in life that I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put you in charge of me. Here's power of attorney. You wouldn't do that. So why are you letting Roland Emmerich continue to make movies? Moonfall's bad. All right, so let's talk about something a little bit different here. Something where maybe my expectations were really low, and then, hey, it ended up not being quite as bad. Let's add a little bit of a little bit of happiness to this week. Why don't we? So let's talk about The Secrets of Dumbledore. So I am a huge Potter fan. I always have been. Like many people my age, Harry Potter is what got me back into reading after I had lapsed for years and years and years. I mean, this is tale as old as time, going through high school and taking all the AP classes and then going to college and having literature classes. And I just lost that spark for reading. And then here comes this little boy with a lightning scar, and he changed my life and got me to enjoy reading again. So, despite the craziness of J.K. Rowling, I'm not even going to get into that. Despite everything that's happened since then, I have a deep love for the Harry Potter universe and for Harry Potter lore. And so that's why I was so disappointed by The Crimes of Grindelwald. And it almost felt offensive to me just how bad that movie was, just how nonsensical it was, how there was nothing of value in that film. It's like anytime when you have a crossroads and you can take one of two directions. One way is going to be the right way, the other way is going to be the wrong way. At every crossroads, at every junction for the Crimes of Grindelwald, they took the wrong path. But I'm not here to complain specifically about the Crimes of Grindelwald, because I want to talk about, take from that place of where I was when I watched the Crimes of Grindelwald, and let that set expectations for the Secrets of Dumbledore. And then I loved the Secrets of Dumbledore. Is it a good film? No. It is not. There are so many plot holes, so many things that don't make sense. But one thing that I love is this little screenwriter trick that I've seen used a few times where it's like, our plan has to be nonsensical because they can see the future, and so if we confuse them, then our plan won't be able to be foreseen. It's something I've seen used a few times, and it makes me laugh every time, because it's like, yeah, that just means that you want to make an excuse for just going off the wall and have nothing make sense, because, it wasn't supposed to make sense, because then Grindelwald would have known. And, I gotta respect that on some level. But, was the writing all there? No, this is not a well-written movie. Does it make sense? No. Did I enjoy it anyway? Yeah. Were the characters great? Not really. What about the new additions? No. I will say it was a lot more focused than the Crimes of Grindelwald was. And I think that's why it succeeds a lot more. Because instead of having these 10 branching plots and trying to bring them together in ways that might make sense if you've been hit on the head several times, they actually stuck to more or less a single narrative. And that really helped the story along, as nonsensical as it was. But, the thing about these movies, about the Fantastic Beasts movies, is it all relies, you have so much good that comes about because of one character, Jacob Kowalski. Because here you have the heart of the film. Not only is, he's a little bit, the comic relief. And do I like that they make him a comic relief because he's a little bit bigger and, bigger guys have to be the comic relief? No, I don't. I hate that trope. But Dan Fogel pulls it off so well. And he's so just affable and lovable, and you can't help but like him in ways that you do not like Newt Scamander, or Theseus Scamander, or Albus Dumbledore, or any of these people. I don't know what their names are. Do you? But Jacob was a lot more front and center in this, which I think is something that is actually really needed, because here you have a nomad, a muggle, who's one of the main characters of this movie. And I think that is an element that you especially need when you're trying to delve into these people who are more or less racist against muggles. To have a muggle that's, front and center, who's not just an idiot. He says smart things sometimes. He does smart things sometimes. He's brave. Here he is, absolutely no magic in this world full of magical people, and he does more brave things than anybody else in this film, over and over and over and over, even though he has no magical abilities. And that's what I think that this movie does so well, is Jacob. Get rid of Jacob Kowalski, this movie's a dumpster fire as well. But with Jacob, oh, it's great. It has heart. I enjoyed it. Like I said, is it outstanding cinema? No. Is it fun? Yeah. Am I glad that I saw it? Yeah. Is it likely that we'll see anything else, going forward with this series? No. Not with those box office numbers. Sorry. Harumph. And finally, guys, I am so excited to tell you about this because this is probably my favorite thing that I have experienced or consumed this year. Like, if you want to try to pinpoint what is Brady, what is Brady's interests, and you want to really kind of get down to those brass tacks, then it is Severance. Oh man, this show is amazing. Of course, you have all of these amazing actors giving just stellar performances. Adam Scott, people don't give him enough credit as a dramatic actor. Because of all of his iconic comedic roles, you wouldn't really think that he'd be able to pull off the gravitas that you need in kind of a darker project like this, but he excels. John Turturro is one of the best actors in Hollywood. And then, of course, you have that guy. Mr. Walken himself is in this show. But what... Oh yeah, and hey, you know what? Don't forget, Spider-Man, do a flip! So, here's the thing. I love high-concept, weird TV shows. Like, that's my bread and butter. Good Place, high concept and weird, got it. Legion, high concept and weird, got it. Fargo, high concept and weird, got it. Those are all kind of the Brady guarantee of you want Brady to like something, this is what you do. There's your template. Go for it. And so, I looked at Severance and I didn't really know anything about it going in. But I have just this dislike for Apple in general. And Apple TV is... Oh man, it's so bad. The UI is horrible. The fact that you can stop in the middle of an episode and it won't remember that you stopped in the middle of the episode, so you can't continue it from where you were. Oh no, you have to start that episode over again and then fast forward and hope that it doesn't glitch out on you in order to find it. And of course, because I don't own an Apple phone, I don't have Apple products, I have to watch this on my TV. And the TV experience is not great with Apple TV. So, there were a few things that were against me trying this right off the bat, and it basically comes down to Apple. But I am so glad that I ended up giving this a shot. Because, let me just back up here for a second. Back up. Give you some of the concept. Okay? As I said, it's high concept. So here's your concept. Work-life balance. There you go. Now, okay, work-life balance is something that obviously, if you've worked in any corporate environment, it's something that's talked about a lot. They want to make sure that you're able to balance what happens at home with what happens at work, so that at work you perform better and you can, not have to concentrate on work while you're at home, that you can be separate. And really what Severance is this company has this technology where they can basically separate your memory. So they can take, when you enter work, all of a sudden your brain switches into work mode. And you only have the memories that you've ever had while in that building, while in that work. And then you go home, forget everything that happened at work, and you're in home mode. And so basically, you sever your memories, you sever your identity into two different portions that never intersect. So that concept is already interesting. And the way that they play with it here is outstanding, because it really goes into, the drama and the emotions of what would that be like to know that you have this whole other life but have no idea what goes on, to not know yourself, and what makes you then in that case. And then it starts taking these twists and turns in the story that just make it better and better and better. There's all these mysterious elements, like this board of directors that is kind of looming in the background. Who are they? What are they doing? What is it that they're actually doing at this company? You have these people who are working and they have no idea what they're doing. They're looking at numbers on a screen and going, those numbers look bad for some reason. I get this bad feeling about those numbers, so I'm going to group them here. But what is that actually accomplishing? And then you take all of that and then you add in the aesthetics that they have here, where it's kind of this faux 70s sort of business environment, but everything is like stark white, and everything is just very, very, very sterile and businesslike. And then you get these characters. Milchek. Man, what a character. And you added all these little elements with these characters in this environment that just add kind of this creep factor of, I really want to know what's really going on. And then it ramps up and it ramps up and it twists and turns, and then it ends and you're left not knowing what is going on, and you're going crazy. And then you find out they haven't started shooting the next season yet. They haven't even started. What? No! I need answers. Oh man, I'm going to go out on a limb here. This is the best first season of a show that I have ever seen. You owe it to yourself to go and watch Severance. It's that damn good. And that's really it for this week. Man, it does feel very good to be back. After everything, getting Real Life up and running and getting that out there for everyone, it feels good to be back doing this every week. And, I'm going to do my best to keep up with it, but if there is a show that you would like me to watch, if there's a book that you would like me to read, if there is a game that you'd like me to play, go ahead, put it in the comments, because I'm more than happy to give it a shot. And, depending on the emotions that it strikes up on me, I will probably talk about it in a future wrap-up. But till next time, I'll see ya. Man, Severance is good. Severance is very good. Reviews!